Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today we're going to talk about the Raiders getting snubbed at the Pro Bowl. There are several players who are not going to make it to the Pro Bowl who I think actually have better numbers than those who did. It's kind of unfair. I'm glad Perryman made it. I'm glad Crosby made it. Glad AJ Cole made it. You know, it's nice having a good punter, even though we don't really want to be punting most of the time. But there's some other guys who I think should have made it, so we're going to go ahead and talk about it and go over just the basic Pro Bowl roster. The alternates were released today. You have Raiders Scout on Instagram posting the alternates: Colton Miller, Derek Carr, Hunter Renfro, Unique Ngakoue, Daniel Carlson, and also Darren Waller. To be honest, Darren Waller hasn't played that many games. I understand that he's a really talented tight end. He hasn't played since week 13 in the Cowboys game. We're already in week 16. That's 3 weeks, almost a month. He's not going to play against Denver. So I think you maybe give that spot to somebody else. Hey, do I think he's the best tight end in the NFL? Yes, but when you haven't played, I don't know why you should go to the Pro Bowl. You got to have the numbers. That's another problem I have with J.J. Watt, always getting high praise and PFF ratings and whatnot. It's because he hasn't really played in a few years. Like, he hasn't really put up a full season. So how could you compare him to people who are playing full seasons? And I know injuries aren't people's faults, but you can't just give somebody awards just because they're popular and they're a superstar. I think you got to have the numbers and production to back it up each year. And I think a lot of players, especially a lot of players on the come up, I think a lot of them would agree. All right, so of course, you know, everybody who's going to get on the Pro Bowl for the most part are going to be people who NFL is just all over their nuts. You know, so you got Pat Mahomes for sure, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Mac Jones gets Rookie of the Year this year, despite just performing terribly and really not leading his team. Like, the team wins because they have a dope defense and running game. They don't win because of Mac Jones, in my opinion. But this is about the Pro Bowl, so let's talk about that. All right, let's just talk about quarterback. Let's just get pissed off already. Derek Carr, let me compare him to these three guys: Herbert, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. Yeah, nothing pisses me off than watching Derek Carr get unfairly treated by not only the NFL, but also just other freaking Raider fans, to be quite frank. Mainly the millennial ones, you know, they got mood problems. They want to be pissed about everything. Now, a lot of people say, hey, Joe Burrow, he was snubbed for this Pro Bowl because he's got an 89.3 pass grade, but guess what, bro? You lead the NFL in picks, so. And a lot of people say, oh, Derek Carr's thrown a lot of picks this year. Even though a lot of the picks weren't his fault, you see them bounce off people's hands and then land in an opponent's hands. Willie Snead, Foster Moreau picks. That's just two right off the top of my head. But look, Joe Burrow 14, and then Lamar, 13 picks with only 16 TDs. That's pretty shitty. Pat Mahomes, 30 touchdowns, 13 TDs. That's good touchdowns, but hey, you're still one pick away from leading the NFL in picks. Justin Herbert, 12 picks, 32 TDs. So every single QB who's in the AFC Pro Bowl right now has thrown more picks than Derek Carr. And right off the bat, I don't even have to say this, but you already know this if you have a brain. Mahomes, Herbert, and Lamar Jackson have better weapons than Derek Carr. I'm just going to say it. Darren Waller hasn't even played in like 3 to 4 weeks. Ruggs, we know what the hell happened with that. And then don't even get me started on John Gruden. By the way, check out my Gruden playlist, John Gruden playlist. I'm one of the only people to keep it 100% real about John Gruden from day one. And you guys already know this. Derek Carr's leading the NFL in passing yards. And I know people hate that stat because, you know, it's not an important stat. It shouldn't matter. Well, then guess what? Herbert's number 2 in passing yards and Mahomes is number 3 in the AFC. They got in the Pro Bowl because people care about passing yards for them. Why don't we do the same for Derek Carr? And yeah, you got 19 TDs, but guess what? It's going to be harder for you in the red zone when you don't have that many weapons. The freaking field is constricted. It's easier for the defense in the red zone. If you don't have weapons, you're not going to get a touchdown. You're going to settle for field goals. And that's the story of why Derek Carr has 19 TDs on this year. Big time throws. This is a stat that people love to talk about. I love to talk about it. You can't see it on your screen, but Derek Carr has 35. Herbert only has 20. And Mahomes only has 18. And of course, Lamar Jackson has 19. And big time throw, that just means it's a perfect on the money throw that's typically over 15 yards. Boom. So big bombers right on the money. That's Derek Carr leading the NFL. Completion percentage. Remember when people used to care about that? Being accurate, right? Making most of your throws? Well, Derek Carr's doing better than Lamar, Mahomes, and Herbert. 68.2% for Derek Carr, 66.4% for Justin Herbert, 2% less, 65 for Mahomes, and 64 for Lamar. So yeah, that's what I'll say about Derek Carr. We can tie this debate nonstop, but definitely thinks he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl instead of either Lamar or even Justin Herbert. But glad he's an alternate. Look, okay, I'm going to be pounding the table for Hunter Renfro all day. To be completely honest, I think it's unfair to have Keenan Allen in front of Hunter Renfro. Keenan Allen is just more famous and more popular. I mean, yeah, you got 3 more receptions than Renfro, 100 more yards, but you have the same amount of touchdowns. You have more drops. You have more drops even though you barely have more receptions, just 3. Your receiving grade's the same. You have a worse drop grade. Your fumble grade's the same. For Keenan Allen, if you're going to tell me 100 yards is the difference for why this guy should be in the Pro Bowl, I just think that's an unfair argument for having him instead of Hunter Renfro. Because guess what? I'd rather have less drops than 100 extra yards. Because drops, that's clutch. That's critical. That's under pressure. That's a psychological thing that needs to be taken into account. And maybe you're sitting here thinking like, okay, Willie, I mean, I know you love Hunter Renfro, but he should not be in there instead of Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen does the deep ball, right? Man, Keenan Allen could do those bombers, those streaks. Well, guess what? Hunter Renfro is long on the year, longest reception, 54 yards. Keenan Allen's is only 42. So not only does Renfro have way less drops, 5 less drops than Keenan Allen, he's also making bigger plays. And he has 0 penalties, and Keenan Allen has 4 penalties. So I'm going to go ahead and pound the table here and say we should have Renfro in there instead of Keenan Allen. But I am glad that Renfro is listed as an alternate. And here we go, dude. Unique Ngakoue also getting snubbed a little bit. And this is the NFL's website reporting this because he was listed as an alternate. Just a quick tidbit from the NFL. A quick look at the edge rusher selections reveals no flaws. All 6 players chosen for defensive end, outside linebacker earned their spots in the Pro Bowl. But I wish we could find room for Unique Ngakoue, NFL's second best pass rusher in terms of total QB pressures. And that's in the NFL, not just the AFC. He's also tied for 9th with 3 turnovers caused by pressures. Ngakoue has been one half of an excellent edge rushing duo with Max Crosby, and Crosby got into the Pro Bowl even though Unique Ngakoue has some more sacks than him. But I guess Unique Ngakoue has always had problems with the run, and that's what they're going to say here. But in my opinion, I still believe he was snubbed. Look, if you're getting the second most pressures in the NFL as a defensive end, that's Pro Bowl to me. That's money. That's all people want. A pressure sometimes is just as significant as a sack. If you're able to pressure somebody and they throw it incomplete on a key down, or they throw a pick because of that, that is most of the time just as significant as a sack. Joey Bosa only has 9.5 sacks, only half a sack more than Unique Ngakoue. And like I said earlier, Ngakoue is second in the NFL in pressures. So I get it though. I mean, this is just a classic example of stats being valued more than pressures. And it's also a classic example of wins and touchdowns being valued more than actual passing stats. So with Derek Carr, I feel like he's robbed because of his touchdown to interception ratio. Even though Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson have more picks than Derek Carr, I also think Renfro just straight up has better stats than Keenan Allen. You're going to tell me 100 more yards makes the biggest difference? They both have the same amount of touchdown. I just wanted to break this video down for you, show you guys who's in the Pro Bowl, show you some Raiders who could have made it and who are now alternates, and we'll see what happens because, like people have said, if any of these players go to the Super Bowl or get injured, boom, one of our guys gets in there. I would rather us go to the Super Bowl. That is a long stretch, but why not? I believe in miracles, right? Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you watched it all the way through, and subscribe to this channel to get more updates. I am posting videos all the time, every single week, and going live every single week. And I hope to catch you at them. It's going to be really fun, and I'd love to see you there. Peace out.